Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Master Football. The day is here. The day that every crappy team looks forward to. The day that they're able to improve their team exponentially. The first day of the season in which things start to look up. Things start to come to fruition. The day is the opening of NFL free agency. Now, that's the narrative. I mean, it's the first day that you can actually start to make your teams better. Again, through addition, not through addition by subtraction. You can't say, oh, we cut this guy or this guy retired. Now we're going to be good. This is the first time you can start adding players to your team and actually get a little bit better. Now, let's talk about and see what's going on here, what actually NFL free agency means, and what you actually need to know about NFL free agency. So, the start of NFL free agency, March 15th, 2021. However, if we're being technical here, the start of free agency technically does not start until March 17th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So right now we are in what is known as the legal tampering period. Essentially, 3 days before free agency begins, clubs are permitted to contact and enter contract negotiations with the agents of players who will become unrestricted free agents. So the only difference is you can start talking to somebody on the 15th about what contract you want them to sign, but they sign it on the 17th. So there's really no free agency begins on the 15th. Okay, the legal tampering period is just an adorable thing for them to say in order to be like, oh, you can do this, you can do that. It's free agency beginning. Okay, it doesn't go into effect until March 17th at 4 p.m., but it is what it is. Now, I think it's very important for us to talk about, again, we got to make sure we have entrepreneur hands right now. It's very important for us to talk about what actually goes on and why free agency is not nearly as lucrative as a lot of people think it's going to be. I'm a big fan of Pro Football Focus here. Up here we have the list of all of the players who are available, and as you can see, within the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, those are all signed. There's a couple that are unsigned, but you see signed. A lot of these are franchise tagged, signed, and then about 23 down, nobody gets signed. So why would you ask that? So there's 23, 30, 40, 60, 90, 100, 115. There's lots of people who are unsigned. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the NFL teams realize the same thing that I think fans need to start realizing. It's free agency is a couple people available at the top and then a bunch of... Now, I mean, as an example, I want to show you one player. One player that I want to highlight really quickly is our dear friend Russell Okung. Russell Okung was a right tackle, formerly of the Seahawks, bounced around a couple times, played last year with the Panthers, did pretty well. Did very, very well, especially considering the fact he's a little older of a tackle, but he did pretty good. This is what Pro Football Focus is projecting that he's going to hit. So Pro Football Focus here, Russell Okung, this is the contract he's projected to get. 3 years, $50 million, about $16.67 per. That's a pretty good contract. If we look at, we sort by tackles, right or left tackles combined, that would put him somewhere in the, what would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He would be the 6th highest paid tackle. He'd be higher paid than Taylor Lewan. Taylor Lewan, again, is coming off of an injury, but again, he would be the 6th highest paid tackle. Now, how did he actually perform last year? So this is Pro Football Focus. I don't want to actually show it. I'm not 100% sure if they're cool with me showing this stuff or not, because it's part of their PFF Pro plan. But Russell Okung was the 33rd highest rated tackle last year. He is going to be paid like the 6th highest paid tackle this year. Again, if you can't see the discrepancy in value there, then I don't know what to tell you. Free agency is not for teams who are 1, 2 players away from a championship. Free agency is for the occasional star to become available, the occasional young player to be available, and for other teams just to fill basic needs. Again, if you don't have a right tackle and you have to start an undrafted free agent or overpay for Russell Okung, you overpay for Russell Okung. But remember, it's not like you're going to come in here and you form championship level players with this. There might be the occasional thing where, as an example, last year or this offseason, or actually during the season, that Leonard Fournette signed with the Buccaneers. That's a little bit different of a story. He was an addition to an already pretty good team. They already had pretty good running backs, pretty good offensive line. He was going there to solidify that. That is more of an NBA thing where players will go to teams that they think are going to win championships. But in the NFL, it's not as the tectonic plates do not shift like when LeBron signs with the Los Angeles Lakers, when Kyrie Irving goes to the Nets. Those tectonic plates do not exist in football. A few years ago, Kirk Cousins signed with the Vikings, and they're okay. They're better at quarterback than they were, I suppose. But are they a championship level team because of one quarterback signing? I don't know. Now, checking up here at the top, I see a couple commonalities. So we'll see that Kenny Golladay, wide receiver, good receiver, he's available. Trent Williams is a right tackle that's available. Anthony Harris is a safety that's available. Hunter Henry is available. Will Fuller is available. So I'll say this. If you are a high-level team and you feel like you are an offensive skill position player away from a championship, you've got a couple options here. Hunter Henry, you've got Will Fuller, you've got Kenny Golladay. You can get Trent Williams at right tackle, maybe even push him over to left tackle. There's lots of options for you there. But if you think you're going to come in here and have a focal point of your offense added in free agency, Dak Prescott is off the board. Allen Robinson is off the board. Chris Godwin is off the board. Brandon Scherf is off the board. There's a lot of those good, solid, foundational players are off the board. I mean, for example, I hammered the Saints because of how much little cap space they had. They still found a way to tag Marcus Williams. Now, granted, they had to cut everybody else, but even them, with no cap space, knew they had to prioritize keeping their good young players. So all I want to tell you, all I want to tell everybody here is because you signed this one player, you're probably not going to win a championship because of that. You have to have the draft behind it. Again, the free agency is a good way to fill holes, but you do not build through free agency, okay? The Washington football team has tried that for years. The Dallas Cowboys have tried that for years. The Dallas Cowboys only turned it around when they started drafting well. When they started to draft a Zeke, when they drafted a Dak, when they drafted a good left tackle, Tyron Smith. That's when they started to do well. Not when they added, good money, not when they added great money for good players. That's not how you build a championship team. So I know emotions are running high. Everybody's excited. Oh my gosh, the legal tampering period is here. Oh my gosh, we can start signing free agents. Here's the deal. You're not going to win a championship because of the free agent that you sign. You really need to pay attention to the fact that the draft is more important. This is to fill holes. If you're like, we need this position because we were terrible at this position last year and it was a glaring hole, and you fill it with that, that's different. However, if you're just like, we need to overhaul the defense. You sign 3 free agents. Now your defense is amazing. Yeah, if all 3 free agents hit, but if they don't all hit, then you're going to have a whole bunch of overpriced players that are probably going to be gone 1 to 2 years later. So thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Again, like, share, subscribe to all the videos. Again, if you don't like the video, remember, just hit the like button, go down and be like, this video kind of sucks, but I like it because you're a mobile boy. I appreciate it. Anyways, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. See ya.